Good Mom and Monday. You're here with the Mistaken Mama podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Mandee.
And we are your hosts. This week, we're going to be talking about how we met our husbands and kind of just the stories of then to now.
Yes. Before we talk about our husbands, we're going to do our wins and fails, like always, and our book that we're reading.
Yes.
Let's start with the book we're reading.
Okay.
So what are you reading or still reading?
Still reading The Takeover.
Okay.
Again,
still
audiobook.
going good?
It just, my time for that is limited. I am significantly further through it, though.
Is it a big book? I can't remember if I asked you that.
It's pretty big.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's like a 10-hour audiobook.
Oh.
And when I only listen to it when I'm making dinner.
That's like an hour, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
I'm also physically reading. I'm also reading Flock by Kate Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
I'm over halfway through that book now, and
is it good?
I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It's a modern take on Robin Hood.
Okay. So I finished A Court of Thorns and Roses.
The way that you say that the same way every time.
I can never just say it.
Of Thorns and Roses.
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
There, I have it in like, good job.
There. Beautiful. Okay. Anyway.
We're going to have like applause.
I finished it.
Good job.
Finished the last book. I was hesitant at first about that last book because it's not in first person and it never switches back to first person ever.
I wonder why she did that.
I think I know why, because it's not the main characters of the first four.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah. And I was a little like, I don't really want to read about those two, but then it got really good.
Okay.
And now I'm like, I want another book.
Oh.
You texted me this morning
and
told me that you have one heck of a fail to talk about. So
yeah.
I want to hear your fail first.
Okay, so I'm asleep. All right. My son comes in, taps me, tap, 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 on my shoulder. I turn over and I look at him. I'm like, Damon, what's wrong? And he goes, wet. I'm like, wet? Wet. I said, where are you wet? And he taps his bum. So I think like, oh, he has a wet diaper. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Okay. I say, go grab a diaper. And he's like, like he's confused. I'm like, he's just tired. It's fine.
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten like out of bed at this point. I'm still laying in bed, still groggy. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on here. I was up late last night. And well, he goes and grabs the diaper. He shows it to me. And I'm like, great, go bring that to the living room. He's like, wet. Like irritated. And he doesn't speak very well.
Right.
So
I could just imagine him doing that.
And I was like, I'll be right there. And so he goes out to the living room and I sit up. I can't find my phone. It had fallen on the floor. Mm-hmm. I look and I feel like I need to give a little bit of context of why I was up late last night. I was doing my husband's tattoo. I do tattoos it has to.
Oh no.
Everybody is fine. Okay. He didn't get into anything dangerous. I can say that confidently. Okay.
I just saw where this was headed.
Yep. Thankfully I keep all of my dangerous stuff like the needles and whatever way out of reach. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Okay. Thankfully my ink was out of reach too. So it was not my ink.
Okay.
Because that never would have come out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I look on the floor, grab my phone, and next to my phone is something from my tattoo kit that he should not have. Mm-hmm. It's my little my carrying case for the machine parts, like that. Kind of like that.
Right.
But not the actual machine itself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like trying to like figure out what has happened. And then I realize there's a glisten on it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's wet. Why is it wet? I touch it and I immediately know what he has. If you've ever been cleaned at a tattoo shop, mm-hmm. you know that there's this thing called, it's like green soap. Mm-hmm. That is currently all over my living room.
Oh no.
I go out there and I'm immediately met with my transfer lotion, mm-hmm. squeezed all into the carpet. The green soap has been sprayed everywhere. He's soaking wet. And I'm like, well, thank God none of this is toxic.
Right.
We just were done at like 3 a.m. last night. And so I just left it on the counter.
Yeah.
He took it upon himself to wake up this morning, not tell me he woke up, which he usually does.
Right.
Goes out to the kitchen and decides to spray all of this everywhere.
What's this?
And so lots of stuff was coated in transfer lotion and green soap this morning. Which, I mean, bad on me for leaving that out. I am just glad that he didn't get into anything that could have hurt him.
Right.
Granted, I never leave that stuff out. I was just like, I'm not going to go put away this stuff tonight. So
yeah.
I'm going to have to get myself some more of that.
Where was Anna?
Asleep.
Oh, usually I feel like she's awake first.
Yep. Nope. Not lately. Damon has not been sleeping like at all. Like at all.
Oh, beautiful. Kids are beautiful.
Yeah. What's your fail? Let's move on from me.
Well, my fail isn't as funny.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's kind of an overall thing, but the last like 3 days I have been in the biggest slump I've been in a long time. And I think it has to do with the fact that I was so busy last week.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a kind of person that needs to like recharge after activities. Mm-hmm. And it was, we record on Wednesdays and then we edit on Thursdays. Yes. So we recorded, we edited. Well.
Not well, my ass!
That's another fail that we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yep. So sad.
So we record, we edit, and on edit days, most of the kids, if not all of the kids, are together. So this Thursday, it was all the kids together.
Thankfully, that's only like every other week that's going to be happening.
Yeah. It's not terrible. It's just...
It can be overwhelming.
For me, just the extraness gets to me a little bit.
It's funny because for me, it's only like one extra kid.
Yeah.
So I don't really notice the difference.
Right.
Like they start screaming and I'm like, this is normal for me.
Yeah.
Whereas you.
It like doesn't bother me in the moment. It's when I go home and I realize, oh my God, I am worn out.
I had a feeling that you were getting that because sometimes like I'll leave your house with all my kids or something, or like you'll leave and I'm like, Mandy's overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that a lot.
She's not going to like me anymore.
No, it's not that at all. I get so like too much sensory overload for me.
Yeah.
And then Friday, I spent the whole day with my mom and we went shopping, which I love to do, but still you're out and about getting kids in and out of the car and everything. And then Saturday, we had to do our grocery shopping.
So just chaos all the time.
So then it was chaos. And then we hung out with Michael's cousin and wife. And that all went great. But again, there was 2 more kids in my house. I was entertaining people. So then at the end of it on Sunday, I looked at Michael and I was like, I'm done. I can't anymore. So then the last like 2-3 days, I just feel like I've been trying to get back to just normal. Yesterday was better. Better. But for like 2 days, I was like, I'm
cutting out.
I'm gonna be out. Mom's off.
Mom's off. We're done.
But then again, Mom's not off. So
yeah.
But
never truly off.
Yeah. So I kind of felt like why it's a fail is because I felt like I wasn't doing anything for the last like 2 days, 2-3 days, because I just needed a recharge.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I do. So then a podcast fail. So last week we attempted to record. We actually have to try to record 2 episodes for you today because last week we tried to be spontaneous.
We tried to be fun.
And record a little game for you. Don't try to do games spontaneously like that, because we weren't coordinating with each other because we were like, oh, let's have it be like a surprise.
Yeah.
No.
It can't be surprised.
Nope. And so
at least not for that game.
No, not that one specifically. And so we'll probably try to redo that eventually. Eventually, when you see that video or listen to that podcast, we'll let you know.
But yeah, so that was our together fail.
So let's get into the wins.
Yes.
You first? So a win this week is for homeschooling. I was looking up different like math worksheets and stuff. And I was like, oh, kindergarten math worksheets and stuff. Nothing that my daughter is capable of doing was popping up. And so I learned that she, as far as math goes, is considered at a second grade reading level, or not reading level, but math level.
Oh, okay.
And so
And she's technically supposed to be in kindergarten or first?
neither. She doesn't qualify for kindergarten, technically. For homeschool, she does, because there's not those same rules.
Right.
But because she was born in November.
Oh, right.
She was 4 at the cutoff still. And so she shouldn't even be in kindergarten if she was in public school.
Okay.
So, but we found out that she actually does a really good job with worksheets. I didn't. She does.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a mom win there too.
Yeah.
Is that I'm learning to adjust and adapt my learning style to fit her learning style.
Yeah.
Or my teaching style, I guess, to fit her learning style.
That's really cool.
Because I always want to do it my way.
Yeah.
My way doesn't work for her.
Right. I feel like that would be the biggest struggle with homeschooling.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of mathing, I saw this thing on TikTok that's it's like a stamp roller. I don't know if you've seen it. They're really cheap and I think they're on Amazon, but you basically roll it and it's like a whole list of math problems, like addition and then the other side subtraction, and you can move the dial so every time you roll it, it's a different set of, yeah. My mom win is that, so we had a dentist appointment, Maverick's first dentist appointment, and he did really, really good. He wasn't like weirded out by somebody touching his mouth. He let them brush their teeth and everything, and no cavities.
Woohoo!
So I was really proud of him. I wasn't like worried that he was gonna have cavities because he never complains of like mouth pain or anything. But I feel like you just never know with kids.
Yeah.
Because they eat snacks all day long, and you know.
Yep.
So, but yeah, everything went really good. The only downside to it was that they really told us that we should work on his thumb sucking. Because it's starting to move his teeth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fun.
It was an overall win. And I mean, he said he's not super worried. I think about 4 or 5 is when like they get really concerned about the thumb sucking. Mm-hmm. So as long as we start nipping it in the bud, it's just hard.
Yeah. That's always hard. Especially if they spend more time by themselves, because then you don't catch it as much.
Yeah, exactly. And he does it as a comfort thing.
Yep.
And to go to sleep. So. Yeah.
Fun.
Yes. But overall, the dentist was a good trip. Good success. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Anyways.
I guess we can now get into the actual episode.
Yeah.
So, since you met your husband first.
Technically, yes.
Let's go with as far as like years go.
Yes.
You
That's true.
were first.
Okay. So I was a freshman in high school. I was almost done with my freshman year, and he was a junior. Mm-hmm. I had always known about him.
It makes it sound like he's so like elusive.
I know.
He's just like tall, dark, and handsome.
Growing up, I had some of my friends were like into him, and I never was.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. Like he was always, I wouldn't say like he was like a popular kid, but he just, I don't know, he tickled the fancy of some friends of mine at the time. And that was more middle school. Mm-hmm. And I never knew him other than that. And he always wore like a yellow and black striped bumblebee jacket. And that's the only thing that I knew him by, is that my friends thought he was hot and he wore this bumblebee jacket.
All right.
And I was like, not my type.
Okay.
So then
I feel you there.
Yeah. So then one of the friends that was kind of liked him, I guess you would say, in middle school. I don't think she did once we got to high school. But we were walking. We always went on walks, and we saw him and another friend. And they were driving around. We stopped. They came and hung out with us at a park. Mm-hmm. And we were like listening to music and hanging out. And he gave me his sweatshirt. And I was like, I kind of like him. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, you don't like them until you hang out with them. And then you're like, wait, I kind of like him.
Yeah.
And then they left. And then he called me and he was like, I left my sweatshirt with you. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he's like, well, I'm going to need that back. So he had his friend turn around and come pick it back up. And I was like, okay, bummer there.
Sad.
Yeah. But so then he got that. Obviously, we had exchanged numbers. And then we just started texting. We were basically like, you know, I don't want this to be anything. Like, let's just be friends. We had both just gotten out of relationships. Like, let's just hang out and not have anything serious. And then I think like 3 months later, then we officially started dating.
Oh.
Yeah. So it took a little while.
That's
and I was
cute.
not expecting him at all. After that, we officially got together.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was kind of the beginning of us.
And so you guys dated literally all through high school.
And then all through high school. Yep. And we weren't one of those couples that was like, break up, get back together, break up, get back together.
You just guys were kind of just always together.
We were just together. Once we decided we were together, we were together.
It's kind of funny because, like, so he was your high school sweetheart. You were kind of only like his half.
Right.
If you think about it, because he was
At the very end of his high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, I think, well, we officially started dating in March. So then.
So like the end of that year.
Yeah. So then the end of the school year is what, June? I think usually.
Yeah.
So April, May, June.
So like 3 months.
3 months into his, or at the end of his junior year and then all of his senior year.
So for him, it was just like the 1 year.
Yeah.
That's literally like mine.
Yeah.
Same. So for me, I was a sophomore, not a freshman. And my now husband was a senior. So we, same age gap,
Right.
but
Yes.
shifted slightly.
Yeah.
I was, this is going to sound pervy. I'm sorry. I was 15. He was 18.
Okay.
It sounds bad until you realize we were in high school together.
Right.
He was a senior. And so it's not as bad. Like, I don't think I ever would have got with an 18-year-old had we not also been going to school together.
Yeah.
Because I would have looked at that like, you're a grown up.
Right.
That's
I
creepy.
think that was the same age difference between Michael and I.
It's just that shifted year makes it a little bit
true.
different.
That's true. Because he wasn't 18 when we got together.
Yeah. Whereas Thomas was already 18. That did not go over well with my parents.
Oh, I believe
My mom didn't seem to care as much, but it was my stepdad, but he was also a dick. So
Right. Yeah.
I don't
We don't
care.
like him anyway.
Nope. So it doesn't matter. I think my mom was more so just concerned because, like, you know, all moms
I
are
was going to say,
concerned.
yeah, I probably had it not even been the age thing. She probably would have just been
Yeah.
concerned anyway.
And he was always very respectful. Like because my mom was one of those people that was like, oh, I'm going to set you down and we're going to have a talk.
Right.
He listened. He was just so sweet and respectful. And he was just like, I have no ill intentions with your daughter. We're just,
Yeah.
I enjoy her time. Like, you know, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But let me tell you about how we met specifically.
Okay.
So I was walking through the hall to my first period. It was early morning. I don't know why, but I remember that I was irritated at my mom about something. So I had my headphones in and my hood up.
Okay.
I had two personalities in high school. Okay. There was cheerleader me, who was always very done up, makeup done, hair up, bow. Me, no glasses. That's an important factor here, guys. Then there was the other me that either like my hair was either in a messy bun or would be down. So I looked drastically different. My makeup was also usually less done on days that I didn't have my uniform on. We had to wear a uniform every single Friday.
Right.
So every Friday, casual Kaylee didn't exist.
Right.
Every other day of the week, cheerleader Kaylee didn't exist.
Yes.
I also wore my glasses. So, you know, I would wear like jeans, sweatshirt or something, cardigan, whatever. Very two different scenarios there. Two different people. And so it was a not cheerleading day.
Okay.
So I was in normal clothes, headphones in, hood up, walking to my first period. And he is standing outside of my first period. He also happened to have a class across from my first period, but not as his first period. But he was talking to that teacher about something. And I think that was like his second or third period. And he was standing there and he quite literally stops me dead in my tracks. I, being not very happy in that morning, decide for the first words that I ever say to my life partner. I don't know it at the time.
Right.
Or else I probably would have chosen different words.
Yeah.
I looked him in the eye and I said, fuck off.
Poor Thomas.
Poor guy. I think he was taken aback a little bit.
I'm sure.
And he just kind of like, shit, what do I say?
Right, yeah, what did I do?
He pauses. I try to push past him. He like blocks me, like, you know, I don't even know how to describe that. You know what I'm talking about. You try to go past somebody and then like
they step over it. Yeah.
He did that. I'm like, get out of my way. And he's like, can you do me one favor? I was like, what? Just irritated at this point. I'm like, I just want to get to my class. I just want to sit down, listen to my music, probably listening to Justin Bieber or whatever the hell I was into back then.
Right.
One Direction, you name it.
Yes.
And he says one single word. Smile. Hooked. Got it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Hook, line, sinker.
I don't know. I think I wasn't expecting it. Mm-hmm. And the way that he said it, it was very, like, oh God, I don't even know how to explain it.
Like movie moment?
Yeah.
Or book moment?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was very much like your smile gives me life and I want to see it right now.
Yeah.
Is the way that it felt. And it was so powerful. One word.
Right.
One word. And I was his.
This may be just because I'm reading 50 Shades of Grey. But for some reason, it gives me like Christian Grey vibes.
I mean.
Because he's very like, don't do that. Sit. Eat.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. And for those that, oh my God, TMI. Thomas is very much. Never mind. I don't know how to. We're just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Let's just say he's a lot of fun and I read a lot of smut, okay?
I get where you're headed.
Yep. Heading there. But so he was the bad boy. Mm-hmm. He was totally the bad boy. Quite literally to the point where my cheer coach took me aside. Mm-hmm. Like when I was coming to practice and he like kissed me goodbye or whatever, after we'd already been dating for a little while. And she's like, look, sweetie, I love you. I look at you and I see myself. Mama Hammy, I love you. And she was like, look, he's not a good person. I genuinely do not believe that he's good for you. I think that he's going to cause problems. She doesn't feel that way now. And she's like since been like, I was wrong about him.
Yeah.
But
he put off the vibe.
He did.
Vibes, yeah.
His dad was not the best influence on him, and he was never really part of his dad's life, or his dad was never really part of his.
Yeah.
And so he came to live with him, and in doing so, he kind of adopted his dad's style and personality. Yeah. This included really baggy clothes. He was smoking when I met him, and cigarettes specifically.
I always forget that. It always weirds me out because I know Thomas now.
Yeah. You know? It weirds me out too. Yeah. And he would bring vodka in a water bottle to school.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he was definitely not my usual type. Granted, I didn't really have a type.
Yeah.
Just
no
kind
real
of,
type.
No real type. Kind of just
I didn't
all over.
really have a type either.
Mm-mm. And he was this bad boy islander that looked like he was gonna beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
He looks more so like that now, because I mean the tattoos on the hands don't help.
Now he's grown.
Now he's grown. He's got that facial hair, tattooed hands. He's all tatted up everywhere. We're gonna be doing one on his head soon. Yeah, that's a story.
Okay.
He kind of gives off this like, if you know him, he's such a teddy bear. If you don't know him, he's a grizzly bear.
Yeah, I could see that.
I have a hard time seeing him as this super intimidating person, though.
Yeah.
Because that's not how I see him.
Right.
I look at him.
Yeah.
And the Thomas that I know is, like, he'll look at me and he'll be like, I love you.
Right.
Like, he's, like, he does, like, the baby voice thing. He sings songs all over the house. He'll be dancing, swinging the kids around.
Yeah.
He bought me one of those, like, giant teddy bears for Christmas one year. Like, he is such a sweet soul.
Right.
But he doesn't have that appearance, and a lot of people don't see that side of him. They see the very intimidating looking side of him.
Yeah.
Especially because he has a major resting bitch face.
Yeah.
And so that's, he wasn't my normal cup of tea.
Right.
And I was surprised that I was attracted to him. Because when this whole like smile thing had happened, he had already been eyeing me. Mm-hmm. He had a girlfriend at the time.
I don't think I knew that.
They only dated for a very short time. Like, literally not even a month. So, like, is it a girlfriend?
Or are you just kind of hanging out?
Yeah. But, so, he was technically dating somebody that I was friends with. Funny thing, we didn't know each other, but we shared several friends in common.
Okay.
And when we got together... That threw you off?
That was a loud...
Yep.
Okay.
When we got together and we started actually hanging out, that is when we realized how many friends we had in common. Because it was a significant amount.
Oh. So how long after the smile incident did you guys actually start dating?
So that was like early December.
Okay.
And I was dating somebody at that time too.
Kaylee, I don't think I knew that either.
Yeah.
Scandalous.
Granted, this guy did not give a rat's ass about me. This is the guy that was always wanting to be at the gym. Came over to my house one time, left almost immediately. I was like, oh, do you want to watch like a movie or something? He's like, actually, I want to go to the gym. And then left. Literally, he was at my house for like 20 minutes.
Was it my husband? I'm just kidding.
Your husband loves the
always
gym.
at the gym.
Yeah. This guy called himself Superman, though.
Lame.
He claims that everybody else did, but I don't. I think it was one of those like, oh yeah, they call me Superman, when in reality it's like, I call myself Superman and I'm hoping it catches on.
So cringy.
Yes. He, very good looking man, but we were kind of in the falling out of stage of the relationship. I had broken up with him on Halloween and he didn't really take that very well. And he refused to admit that we weren't together anymore. And so I kind of like played along with his like, oh, we're still together. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be though.
Right.
And we did that like all the way through November, where I kind of just like tried to avoid him.
Awkward.
I know. And he was also a senior, but he was not 18.
So did Thomas and him know each other?
I think they shared one single class.
Oh, okay.
And so, all the way through November, we were kind of like, I don't really want to be with him anymore. I think he could feel the tension. It was early December that the whole smile situation started. Him and his girlfriend broke up shortly thereafter that. On December 20th, we had our final basketball game that I had to cheer at, before winter break.
Okay.
And he showed up to the game. Thomas did. I was like standing, because like we have to stand on like the sideline, and I had my pom-poms behind my back or whatever. One of the girls besides me nudges, and she's like, hey, it's that guy up at the top corner. I like peer over my shoulder, and he's up at the very, very, very top of the bleachers watching.
Oh,
Hates basketball. He was 100% there for me.
that's awesome.
And he ended up carrying my bag out to the car at the very end of it. But he met me outside, and he texted me while standing in front of me. A foot away. We were having conversation, and he pulled out his phone and texted me, will you go out with me, or will you be my girlfriend, or something along those lines. I didn't respond in the text. I responded out loud, and he was just jabbering away, and he didn't hear me say yes.
Oh.
So I decided to use that against him. Why? I don't know. He didn't hear me. And then at the end, when he walked me out to my car, or my mom's car, because I couldn't drive at the time.
Right.
He's like, so, yes, no? And I was like, well, I guess you're just going to have to wait till we get back from winter break. He went to Montana, which is where he lived at the time.
Right.
Or not lived. His mom lived where he'd come from to be with his dad. And from what I understand, he had actually intended on moving back permanently during that trip. He had no intention of coming home or coming back.
Yeah.
But he came back.
For you.
For me.
Aww.
I know.
So sweet.
He came back, and it was on New Year's Eve that he came over to my house. And we shared a New Year's Eve kiss on December 22nd, so while he was gone, is when he told me he loved me for the first time.
Oh.
Just a few days after, like, he asked me out, and, like, not
real
even
quick.
a month after that whole smile incident thing happened. And so we officially got together technically on New Year's Day.
Oh, okay.
In 2014. So New Year's Day 2014. But, I mean, it kind of started December of 2013.
Right. Because you had said yes, he just didn't hear you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, December 20th, 2013, January 1st, 2014, somewhere in there, we were kind of dating, kind of not.
Yeah.
You know, kind of that weird in between of 2 weeks.
That makes sense.
That's when all that was. And we ended up getting married on December 22nd. So the I Love You Day. But 3 years later.
Right. That's,
3 years? Wait. Yeah, 3 years. 2013 to 2016.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we got together March 14th of 2011. And then we got married March 14th of 2018.
Yeah, so you had a way
7
larger
years.
gap.
Yeah.
Mine was 3 years.
Yeah.
We got married fresh out of high school. Me fresh out of high school. I graduated 2016. And we moved away to Montana together, and we eloped in Montana.
Right. Yeah, and we had been living together. We moved in together right out of high school. Well, I think it was right after the summer, and it kind of worked out because my parents were moving to a different house. And so instead of moving all my stuff to that house, it was like, I'll just move in with him. I plan on doing it anyway. This works.
Yeah.
Because I was going to stay at home while I finished going to college, but because they were moving, it just made sense. And then we had lived together since then. Still are.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's so crazy too, though, because I would have never guessed that I would have gotten with him.
Same.
Ever.
If you had told, like, 13-year-old me, showed me a picture of Thomas, I would have been like,
Nope.
that is not, what?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fuck?
That's how I felt. And I always tease him all the time, like, I knew you before you knew me, because he didn't know me back then. Like, when my friends were like, ooh, you know, Michael.
Yep. He knew me first. Funny enough. So I forgot to mention. There was significance with the whole cheerleader thing.
Oh.
Me having a different appearance. On a Friday. After we had already started dating. This is after the turn of the new year. I come to school in my uniform. And I approach him. He looks at me like I'm insane. Because I'm like, hey, babe. And he's like he didn't recognize me. I wasn't wearing my glasses. My hair was up. I was like, makeup all did. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so he was majorly thrown off. And then he was the throwing off part was only like a few seconds.
Yeah.
And then it clicked and he's like, oh my God, I thought you were a completely different person this entire time. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I've seen you a million times like this.
And he always thought it was a different person.
A totally different person.
That's funny.
He's like, I didn't look like myself really, like with my hair down and stuff. Like it was
Right. Yeah.
and no glasses,
Yeah.
makeup. Yeah. Because
That was
I
funny.
went to the 9s when I put my uniform on.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of expected to. Plus,
Right.
big ass bow on the
Yeah.
head. Kind of distracts away from like the general features of my face.
Yeah.
Whereas like when I was just like normal me, that was my representation, was my face, versus when I was in my uniform, it was my uniform.
That is
and so
too
yeah,
funny.
he did not know that cheerleader Kaylee. I mean, he didn't know her name.
Yeah.
Cheerleader that one.
And you.
And me.
Yeah.
Were the same person. He thought we were genuinely two completely different people, and he just didn't see cheerleader Kaylee all that often.
That's funny.
He didn't connect the dots that it was in like once a week, and then he never saw the other one that day. But
Weird.
it's like thinking you have a twin and you don't kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I distinctly remember, and then I had happened to have been wearing my jacket that day, which has my name on the back. I took it off and I showed it to him, and I was like, "It's me."
It's been me all along.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yep. Or no, I guess that would have been before we officially got together, because he knew I was a cheerleader at the 20th. So never mind. That wasn't before we got together. Scratch that.
Oh.
No, that was before. It wasn't after. It was before we got together. after the smile, before we officially got together.
Before the
I started this story with that was after we got together, and we're like, no, he went to my basketball game. Never mind. That was me getting the turn of events wrong.
Oh, right. Yeah.
In 10 years, I forgot details.
Yes.
So that would have been probably mid-December.
That makes sense.
When we were talking. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
He also gave me a false name when we first met.
What name?
So he, this is when
I don't
we
think
were
I've
like
heard this either.
giving each other's names. He's like, "What's your name?" And I told him, and I was like, "Oh, my name's Kaylee." And I was like, "What's your name?" He said, "Danny." And I said, "You're lying." Danny. He's a very elusive person.
Danny as in Daniel from the book Kate.
What?
Huh?
Yes, that is where I got the name from.
Where did he get Danny from?
I don't know.
Interesting.
He told me that he had a friend named Danny growing up.
Why did he not want to tell you his name?
Have
you ever asked him?
Yeah. He said he doesn't know why he did that.
Just panicked and was like, Danny.
I think so. I literally didn't believe him. I was like, "Give me your ID card." He's like, "What? No." So I chased him down the hallway, snatched his wallet out of his back pocket. He tried to fight me. I run into the girls' room, rip out his ID card, come running out with it. I'm like, "Your name is Thomas." 15-year-old me was a psychopath.
That's funny. I don't wonder why he didn't want you to know.
I genuinely think he, like you said, panicked and didn't know how to respond, and then was just like, "Okay, yep, I guess I'm Danny."
Danny was the first name that came to his head.
Uh-huh.
That's so funny.
Yep. Like I said, he grew up with a friend named Danny, so...
So that name was just in his head?
In his head, yep. Mm-hmm.
That is too funny.
Cracks me up to this day.
Yeah.
Huh. So that's how we met our husbands.
Yeah. That's how we met him.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That was a very long time ago. For me, that...
10 years?
Almost 10. Yep. Because we met in 2013, and it's... Oh. Oh my God, I've known my husband 10 years this December.
Yeah. You guys are listening to this after my anniversary, but March 14th of this year, 12 years. That's wild.
That's a long time.
Would have never guessed.
You know what's funny is that's a long time, but that's a very long time for people our age. Mm-hmm. Because that's like, oh, I've been with my husband like 2 years.
Yeah.
When you're like in your early to mid 20s.
Right.
It's only been a couple years, not going into over a decade in your mid 20s. That's not something that's super common.
No.
It's beautiful, but it is not very common.
It's pretty crazy. It's crazy to think about. Mm-hmm. And I always tell him, like, sometimes I feel like I'm half stuck in high school. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because we met in high school. So I always almost see us as those two people. Mm-hmm. Yes, we've grown so much and we have kids and whatever. But I don't know. Sometimes it's like I'm still stuck in that, like, high school-y feeling sometimes, if that makes any sense.
Kind of. For us, I don't get that as much because I really only had the second half of that first year while we were both in high school, because then he graduated, and the following year, my junior year, I did not attend high school anymore. I was 100% in college because they had the Running Start program, which was... for those of you that don't know what Running Start is, I grew up in Washington, and we have a program where some juniors and seniors, depending on like your grade point average and stuff, can take all or some, but for me it was all of my classes at the local college. Mm-hmm. I did not take a single class in high school. I only returned to go to cheer. That's it. And so
we had something similar at our high school too.
Yeah. And so I just went to 3 classes a day in the morning, and then I literally had the rest of my day completely to myself. And so I didn't get that as much.
Yeah.
Especially because like I worked and stuff, so I kind of my switch flipped. Yeah, pretty quickly.
I think it's also we are still in the same area as where we went to high school.
True. Yeah.
So it's like I think because we see all the same things all the time, it's kind of like we haven't left.
I get nostalgic whenever we drive past where I grew up or where we met. Yeah. So I can't imagine seeing that every single day.
Every single day.
That's like, crazy.
We go around town and it's like, that's, we ate there when we were in high school. We, I kissed you for the first time in that high school. And
that'll be cool though with your kids. Yeah. Because like, I won't get that. My kids will never attend the high school that I graduated from. Yeah. And where we met and all of that. And But your kids will. You'll be able to tell them stories and stuff. And
it's just so weird.
it's so cool.
Yeah. I think that's why we feel sometimes like, Michael says he feels it less than I do. Like sometimes I'm like, whoa, snap back to reality. Like I'm a mom of 2 kids. I'm a wife. I, live in my home. Like, you know what I mean? But there's times where I catch myself and I'm like, we're back in high school. Like we're just on summer break kind of a thing. Nope. Way past that.
Way past that.
It's my 10-year high school reunion this year.
Thomas is...
Right? No.
Because
Next year.
I was going to say, Thomas graduated a year before you.
Next year. I knew it was coming up.
Yes.
But that's wild. 10 years out of high school. How?
Did you graduate
14.
Wait, are you and Thomas in the same year?
Are we?
What?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Are we?
You graduated... So did Thomas, though.
Well, wait. He was a senior when you were a sophomore.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess you and I are 2 years apart.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, because he got held back in like 4th grade.
Okay.
Which is why he was 18 and a senior.
Right, because I was 18 at the very end of my senior year.
Yeah, he was already 18.
Yeah.
He turned 18. He's a July baby. So
right.
18 before that school
and
year
I
even started.
May, so
Yeah.
2 months before I graduated, I was 18.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And see, I was a youngin'.
So yeah, 2014, and then you're 2016. Yeah.
Yep.
And Michael's 2012.
Although I technically didn't graduate high school.
Right.
By definition.
Right, because you did the Running Start program, right?
Well, no, that wouldn't have been the reason. The reason is because I decided to switch high schools when we moved out of my stepdad's house when they divorced, and I moved to a different city. And because
so it's like a different school district kind of thing?
Yes, I didn't have to do that. And thinking back, I wish I didn't. Because that made it to where I couldn't cheer my senior year. But the district we're moving to is the district I grew up in, and I wanted to graduate with the people I started school with. Kindergarten and all my best friends growing up.
Yeah.
However, when I switched over, they had different credit rules, and I didn't qualify to graduate from there. So my high school diploma just says Washington High School.
Just a general?
There is a Washington High School, but that is not the one I graduated from.
Oh. Why did they just pick one?
I don't know. I legally attended that high school, not Washington High School, the one that I was supposed to be graduating from. But I didn't qualify to graduate. I did not have enough credits. And you want to know what's stupid? You want to know how many credits I didn't have? It was not even like the number of credits. It was extracurriculars.
So the classes that technically don't even matter.
Exactly. And so my only option was I either had to take extra classes at that high school.
Like after you were technically graduated?
No, during the school year.
Okay.
Or I had to pay to take them at the college. Because we were allotted 3 classes.
Oh, right.
A quarter or whatever it was. That were...
Sorry.
We were allotted 3 courses per quarter that we could take. Or pretty much 3 credits. Or 5. It was 5 credits. Per course. And so like if you took a 3 and a 2 credit course, that could technically count towards, so you could take 4.
Oh, okay.
Each course had to, so 15 total credits.
Got it. Okay.
Got paid for.
Yeah.
And so like if you failed a class, for example, you could retake that class, but you had to pay back the original 5 credits type thing. And so if I wanted to take my extracurriculars at the college, I would have had to pay for those extra 5 credits.
Got you.
Which is like a normal college course.
Right.
It's expensive.
Right. So it'd be like $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was about $100 per credit. And so that wasn't something that was going to be easily worked out. And so my only other option was that I wasn't allowed to graduate with them. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything.
So did you walk?
Nope. I walked for my college.
I was like, I remember seeing you in graduation.
Yep. I walked for my college, but I did not get to walk for any high school because I didn't technically graduate from high school. I do have a general high school diploma, but I didn't ever graduate, technically speaking.
Right. So you didn't have the ceremony.
Never got it. I wasn't allowed.
That's lame.
It sucked. It made me so sad because I deliberately switched schools for that reason.
Right.
But by the time I realized that, I couldn't switch back because I no longer lived in that district.
Right.
Because they would have allowed me to stay if I just didn't unenroll myself. because I was doing Running Start through them.
Right.
But because I had switched and then they told me that I didn't qualify.
That sucks.
Yeah. So technically, even though Thomas and I met at the same school, we don't technically have the same alma mater. And my high school reunion would be from a school I didn't graduate from instead of the school that I participated in.
Oh.
Technically speaking, I
feel like you could go back.
I'm-
like if you wanted to.
I'm probably going to if
Yeah.
my class hosts one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably be in contact with them once it gets a little bit closer. Be like, is there a reunion? I'd like to go to this one, even though I didn't technically graduate from there.
Yeah.
And then I might still attend the one that I was supposed to graduate from,
Right.
Because that's all people that I grew up with.
Yeah.
I
That's
might get to
true.
attend 2 of them,
There you go. Maybe they'll be on like the same weekend.
hopefully, because it's
So you don't have to
in
go
a different
twice.
state.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. Michael didn't go to his 10-year. He didn't want to. He was like, that's weird. I don't want to do that. I've seen those people. I don't need to see them
Who
again.
organizes those?
It was the students who organized his. So like they made a group Facebook page and then just started adding people from their high school.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to see if
So
there's one
might
for
be
my
a
husband's
similar
year.
thing. Yeah.
He doesn't want to go.
I don't know if I want to go. I'm friends with a lot of the people that I graduated with. So I don't think that it would be too awkward. And because I live in the same area, it's not like I have to super travel, you know? But I don't know. It kind of just, like, what do you do with those things? Just mingle
I guess so.
and just say,
I kind of want to go to the one that me and him met at, though,
yeah,
because we're still together.
right, yeah,
And not many of us are.
yeah.
I just think that'd be kind of interesting. It would have to be my year, though. Or, you know what sucks? A majority of our friend group were in the grade between us.
Oh, so you probably won't even see them.
Because he took a lot of classes, because he, too, had the problem of switching in his senior year and not having enough credits. So he had to take extra courses. And a lot of those extra courses were junior level courses.
Got you.
Because in a different district, things don't match up. And so, junior level, and also he took extra gym classes and stuff. And those are often intermixed for the ages.
Yeah.
And so a lot of our friends, and then I took media, which was intermixed of ages. That's where a majority of my friend group comes from, was from the media class that I was
Right.
in. Yeah. Shout out Sarah and Anthony, which was our friend group. But yeah, they were in the year between us. And so no matter which reunion we go to,
Yeah,
we
you're
wouldn't
not
see
gonna
them.
No.
No. But if we went to mine, at least it would be a bunch of people that we both knew
Right.
because of all the cheerleaders and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and also because we live in the same area, like everybody who knows us, like knows that we're still together. And I feel like in the movies, it's always like, oh, I haven't seen you in 10 years. Like, what are you up to? Like,
Yep.
oh my God, you're married now. You have kids now. Like,
I've
people would
seen
already
you.
know that.
I feel like now in the age of social media, the reunions are kind of like,
Pointless almost.
yeah, because it's designed for like to be able to see somebody you haven't seen in years. But I mean, if you're following them on social media, you know that they got divorced 3 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
You know that they got pregnant and then were immediately married, and you know why.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel
like there's no secrets there. There's
don't
nothing
know.
to learn.
So I just have this envision that I would go and we'd all just be kind of standing around like, so what'd you do last weekend?
Yeah.
You know?
I saw you at the store 2 days ago.
Yeah. I just saw you, you know?
Yeah.
At least the people that I would want to talk to. There's a couple girls that I was like really good friends with in high school that we've kind of just disconnected through the years that I think would be cool to see again. But I don't know if I want to see them at a reunion. Like, I think I would rather like call them up and, hey, you want to go get coffee or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it'd be kind of cool to go, but I know that it would just be a whole bunch of people that I never really talked to anyways, because I hung out with people in different grades than me.
Yeah.
One of my closest friends was a grade below me. And then, like I said, me and Thomas's was in the grade between us, which is
Right.
above me and below him. Excuse me. A lot of the cheerleaders that I was friends with were in my year, and so that those would probably be the only people that I would really like kind of be like, oh my God, you know,
Yeah.
I follow
Interesting.
you on social media and you follow me.
Yeah. You know everything. So,
Yeah.
hi.
Literally. But I think that we have a in terms of like how we met our husbands, we have what a lot of people
feel
in
you.
their teenage years strive for.
Yeah.
Because I know that when I was like going into high school, I was like, I hope I meet the love of my life. And I got lucky. I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a lot of people don't. I know that like there are a lot of couples that like in high school, I was like, those are the people that are going to be together till they're 50 and then they break up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We had quite a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
We actually, out of the high school that I went to, there are a lot of high school sweethearts that are still together.
We also live in a small town though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more common in a small town.
Yeah.
Like my uncle, also high school sweethearts.
Yeah. That's true.
Also same small town.
Yeah. Yeah, because they both went to the same high school that I went to.
They
right?
were in, yep.
Yeah.
They were in different years, but yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And then my mom and her high school sweetheart that she was engaged to, they're still really close now, but not married. But I don't know. It was like fairy tale, you know? And I'm thankful that I got it. And I mean, when people tell me about like their dating stories in their adult life, I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Right. Sometimes I get FOMO because like I never will ever experience that. Like I hope to God I don't have to experience that, you know? But then,
for those of you that is internally panicked, FOMO means fear of missing out.
oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I internally panicked there for a second, and then I remembered I knew what that meant.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. Fear of missing out. But then other times I'm so grateful that I didn't have to deal with the dating life as an adult.
I felt that.
Yeah.
You just say so.
Oh,
I felt that.
feel it deep in my soul because some of these stories that I be hearing are like,
I know.
that sounds like a rough time. And I mean, in high school, I feel like it's really easy to date.
It's honestly one of my favorite things about going to our hairstylist.
Oh, she always has the stories.
Always has the best. It's kind of,
Yeah.
I live vicariously through her when she
Yep.
tells me those stories. I'm just like, yes, give me it all.
Yes.
So that's how we met our husbands and kind of like, you know, how things have been since then and a little bit of extra stuff that you didn't ask for.
Yeah. Because there always is with us.
There always is. But I mean, that's what the best part about having this genuine conversation. And we hope that you enjoyed this episode and we will see you next week.
Yes. Next
Because at this
Monday.
point we're doing,
I think we're now to weekly.
we're weekly at this point
Yep.
when you're listening to this.
Yep.
So we will see you next week for whatever episode we have planned.
Whatever subject comes to mind that day.
Yes. All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.